This is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com, and coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long. And according to Miss Francine, we're going through the Catechism on the Constitution of the United States. Arthur J. Stansbury, Boston, Hillard, Gray, Little, and Wilkins, year 1828, the same year that the first dictionary of the American English tongue was published, authored by Noah Webster. Noah Webster was quite the patriot too, by the way, called the father of American education. He saw that we needed to be educated in the proper way. He did the dictionary so we'd have an English tongue where all the words, the meanings of all the words were tuned in to the meanings God had given those English words in the Bible. That's the dictionary of 1828. Stansbury comes along, both of them hardcore biblicists. By the way, Webster translated the Bible from the original tongues, and he called it Webster's translation of the Bible. That was the work that he thought was the most important that he ever did. Isn't it funny, odd, curious? Nobody talks about his Bible translation. Talk about the dictionary, but even patriots don't even know about it. He recognized the impelling force of the Word of God to a people. And he felt like the King James was outdated, and many more discoveries have been made about understanding of the original tongues. And he wanted to make sure those got inculcated in a new translation. The Word of God never changes, but our expressions of it change as we try to get the points across in the cultures in which we live. That's called history of doctrine. And history of translation of the Bible is the same way. If you don't keep up with that, the Word of God will fall away. Nothing wrong with the King James Version. I'm just making the point. That was a version of the Bible translated at the command of a man who wanted to promote his power. And that translation was a part of the promotion of kingly power at the expense of judicial and legislative power. Divine right of kings, that was King James. He was a Stuart. He was a Scotsman. You know, the Scotsmen have always had a problem with that. And I speak as a man who probably got his blood like that. Well, I know I do, but I'm just making the point. I'm not down on people because I'm racially distinct from them. When I talk about the American Indians, I'm not down on them because I'm racially distinct from them. Like 80% of Americans that have been here for any period of time, you got red blood in your veins. And I do too. I'm not down on them, but I am down on paganism. Yeah, I'm down on unbiblical points of view. We were listening to a fellow the other day. Oh, we had a Navajo Indian speaking in church and giving his testimony. We played that last week. It made me think. I hadn't said this. I wanted to say it back then I forget, and I get to talking about other things, but I used to be acquainted with a fellow named Tom Claus. Tom Claus. And he was a Mohawk. And he was head of an organization called, what was the name of that organization? Chief. The name of the organization was Chief, and that was an acronym. But his purpose was to evangelize the red man tribes of America. He himself being a Mohawk, and he'd go to the reservations all over America. He saw the decrepit deprivation, the poverty, the drug abuse, the booze abuse, the broken families, the suicide. And him being a Christian man, he said Christianity has something different to offer. But Tom used to say this. Heard him say it more than once, although he's probably gone now. But he said, I am proud to be an Indian by race. But I'm prouder to be a sinner saved by grace. Oh, Tom. Well, whatever we are, our identity is not our race. I was going to tell you about the Scotsmen. They've always had this fascination with the French and the fascination with the law of the city and the divine right of kings. The Jacobins, they called them. Well, they were evil empire people. The Scots got caught up in that at different times. The Jacobins. And they were down on the common law. They were down, the Jacobins. And they allied themselves with the French at times. Very dangerous. I'm not down on them as a matter of race. I'm a mixture like most other Americans. I'm not saying anyone's better than another. I'm just saying that probably, you go back 20 generations, just 20. I did the arithmetic. Just 20 generations, and you have over 1 million ancestors. Over 1 million. Who knows what's in our blood? Well, whatever's in there, it's what you got. You don't worry about polishing up the other end. There's nothing to polish up on the other end. You worry about polishing up this end best you can. And really, the only way that's going to happen is by the new birth, the only dignity that man can ever experience. The only dignity, the only honor, the only decency he can ever experience is from his Maker. And that comes through being born of the Spirit after you're born of the flesh. There is no other way. That's good news. There is a way out of the madness. Well, Miss Francine, I think you said question 44 of this Catechism of our Constitution of the United States says this: suppose, now this is in 18 and 28, almost, 196 years ago or thereabouts, 196 years ago, the question in the Catechism on the Constitution is this: suppose a dispute should arise concerning an election. Well, suppose that might happen. And one person shall declare that he has been fairly chosen, while another denies it and insists that he himself has been chosen. Are you catching on what's going on here? Does this apply to our present circumstances? Who has the power to settle this dispute, according to our Constitution of the United States? D.J. Trump, no question, by an avalanche, won the election for president in 2020. And anybody who says otherwise is deranged. Yes, deranged. There's two kinds of derangement that can occur among men. It starts, both of them, the second one starts with the first one. The first one starts with, you just can't stand the truth and you deny it. The sun is shining through the window in the breakfast nook of your house. Your guest having coffee with you said, that sure is a bright sun shining through the window. And you reach over and pull the blind down and say, the sun is not shining today. What are you talking about? Knowing full well it's shining. Now, when you do that, then you really put yourself in danger. You'll start to believe your own baloney if you say it enough. If that becomes your habit, and it does, with all of us are prone to it, it can become a habit. And once it becomes just a way of life, then real, more deeper, and incurable insanity will overcome you. Don't ever deny a fact that is based upon good, solid evidence. Suppose a dispute should arise concerning an election, and one person shall declare that he has been fairly chosen. D.J. Trump said he was fairly chosen. The other denies it. Biden denied it, and all his crowd. And he insists that he himself has been chosen. Who has power to settle the dispute? Now listen to this. Answer: under our Constitution of the United States. In federal elections, not state elections. A dispute between persons who claim a seat in the House of Representatives can be determined only by the House of Representatives. Wow. Okay, that's not the presidency. That's running for Congress. A dispute between persons claiming a seat in the Senate can only be settled by the Senate, according to our Constitution. Such disputes frequently arise. Now, we're not talking about the President of the United States here. We're talking about Congress. We see how that works. Let's keep going. When a person is chosen to be a member of the House of Representatives, how long does he continue so? Answer, 2 years. 2. Very short time. People in the United States House of Representatives can never afford to stop campaigning, and they don't. Good campaigning is good politics in the House of Representatives, and good politics is good campaigning, and that's their saying there, by the way. That's political wisdom. Good campaigning is good politics. It's good holding office, and good holding office consists of good campaigning. And the 2-year term of office of the House of Representatives is put in our Constitution. The ratifiers put it there because they didn't want them to ever stop campaigning. They wanted them to be in touch closely with the people they represented. They wanted them to be home with them a lot, talking to them. They wanted them in the lower house, called the House of Representatives, to have an immediate and quick reaction to what the people of their district wanted. That's why they made the term of office so short. See, if the term of office is short, you will not have time to breathe. You got to keep campaigning for the next election as soon as you finish that one. That means you have to be back in the district. That means you have to be talking to people. That means you will be more immediately responsive because of that short term of office. When the 2 years have expired, check question 46, may he be chosen again for the House of Representatives? And the answer is yes. He can run for office again. Question 47. Suppose he dies before the time is out. He's a congressman. He dies. Answer. Another is chosen in his stead for the rest of the time of his term of office that he was elected to. Another is chosen. Who chooses? The House of Representatives. The courts? No, not the court. The president? No, not the president. Who? The House of Representatives. Often what will happen, and this has gotten to be kind of a custom, if a man dies in office in the House of Representatives and his wife wants to fill his shoes, the House of Representatives will appoint his wife if she'll accept the appointment. And vice versa. If it's a woman, the man will fill the shoes of the woman. That's what's happening. I'm not saying it's right, but that is what happens. And doesn't that kind of explain why kings in old England, which are like presidents in America, there was no law, and it's still not conclusive, that a son or a daughter of the person holding the crown is next in line. They do that out of custom. But as Blackstone says, it's not law. And it never was. In earlier England, they didn't choose family members. Sometimes they did. Sometimes they didn't. The elders, the Wittenagemot, became the parliament. They chose who would be next in line. But often it would be the son or the nephew or the daughter. It just seems like a normal thing to do. And we do it here in America when it comes to the House of Representatives. It's just natural, so they do it. Question, how old must a person be before he can be chosen a member of the House of Representatives? Answer, 25 years old. Now, in my humble opinion, that's not very old. Matter of fact, a man 25 is still a child, as is a woman. Oh, they may have children. They may have been to a lot of schooling. They may hold down a job. They may be married. They're still children. How do I know? Well, that's what my old age tells me. I know at 25, I didn't know much. At 30, I knew more, but still not much. 40, I was getting there, but I still didn't know much. 50, I started knowing a little something. It's not schooling that brings knowledge. Chachma of the Old Testament. Useful knowledge. It's time. Time ages the wine. Time ages the fiddle. The older the fiddle, the sweeter the music. The older the wine, the sweeter the wine. There's no substitute for time. May a person be chosen, question 49, may a person be chosen who has just come into the United States and who is a subject of some other country. That means who is bound to obey the laws of some other country. I mean, if you're a subject or a citizen of another country, you're bound to obey their laws. And if somebody like that comes to the United States, can he be chosen, elected to the House of Representatives? Answer: no. Any person to be chosen a member of our House of Representatives of the United States must either have been born in the territorial boundaries of the United States or must have been naturalized 7 years. 7 years. Naturalized what? As a citizen of the United States, 7 years before he is chosen, elected to the House of Representatives. Pretty stringent requirement. Are we following it? We should be. It doesn't look to me like we're paying that much attention. We aren't. 50. Question 50 out of 333. Question: naturalized? What does that mean? Answer: a person who was born in another country. Oh, this is apropos. This is right to the point with what's going on here, isn't it? A person who was born in another country and comes to live in this country is not owned as a citizen of the United States till he's lived among us a certain time. And then, after knowing something of our laws and our customs, has taken a solemn oath to obey the government of the United States. He is then admitted as a citizen of our country. This is called naturalization. And when once naturalized, he is allowed to choose the rulers and do all other things, run for office, the same as if he had been born among us. This is the law of the United States still. Why they use the word, why we've come to use the word naturalized to define what it means to become a citizen of the United States, I don't know. It's a bad word. It doesn't even fit, but there it is. We're stuck with it through a few centuries of usage. I guess it's because a natural citizen of a country is one who is born on that land. So when you become a citizen from another country, you are, according to our law, just as you have equal dignity with every other American that was born here. So I suppose we call it being naturalized. Maybe that's why we do it. DJ Trump's mother was not born in America. DJ Trump's mother was born on the Isle of Lewis, off the coast of Scotland. She was not an American. She was a natural citizen of a foreign country. Natural. She was born on the land of another country. This is our common law tradition. It's the law of the land. Everything comes back to the land. She was born there. but she became a citizen of the United States. She was naturalized. She did it lawfully. She came here to work. Then she lived. Would have had something like a green card. I don't know what it was back then, and then she gave birth to DJ Trump on the land, within the raw territorial boundaries of the United States. So DJ Trump, his father was born in the United States. His mother was born off the coast of Scotland, but became a citizen of the United States by naturalization. Therefore, when DJ Trump was born, both of his parents were citizens of the United States. Now that gets real big. He's going to talk about that more later. Who's eligible to be president? Only a natural-born citizen. Natural-born? Now there's a natural citizen that's naturalized. They come from another country, like DJ Trump's mama. But that's not natural-born. She was natural-born in Scotland, the Isle of Lewis off the west coast. She's a natural-born Scot. But DJ is a natural-born American, and only a natural-born American is allowed to be president of the United States according to our Constitution. I'm jumping ahead. I want to start to make this distinction now. There was a lot of discussion about what a natural-born citizen was when Osama Obama, or whatever that guy's name was. He wasn't president. He never was president. He may have been sitting in the White House. We may have been allowing him to do the function of president. He never was, because he is not qualified. He had no proof. No, that birth certificate about being born in Hawaii is bogus. I'm not stupid. Come on, people aren't stupid. I looked at it. I read it. I read the evidence. But give it to a jury. Tell me they would come back and say, oh, yeah, he was born there. No, he wasn't. He's not a natural-born citizen. But neither was Rubio. He ran for president as a Republican. Neither is that senator from Texas, Cruz. He's not a natural-born citizen, born in Canada. Natural-born, two words, by nature. Born by nature, not naturalized, made natural to America by a process, but we're talking nativity. And we talk about the nativity of Jesus Christ. What does that mean? That means his birth. That's the Latin word for birth. What is the land of my nativity? Well, I'm born in Indiana. That's the state of my nativity. There's something special. We know this as God made it this way. The law of the land is important. Oh, John McCain ran for president. Where was he born? He was born in the Panama Canal Zone. His father was a naval officer. He was third-generation graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. His father was stationed there after World War II. He was born there. Whoa, wait a minute. Is he natural born? In that case, yes. Why? Because he was born within the territorial jurisdiction of what the United States, a territory, as it were. What if you're born on a military base in Germany? Are you a natural-born citizen? When I was in high school, and I've said this before, we had to take a test just to graduate from high school. They wouldn't let you graduate unless you passed the Constitution test. You had to show you had some knowledge about it. And we were getting ready for the Constitution test, and we had this long discussion with little Steve Brett. He was a 6.5-foot red-headed basketball player from the University of Evansville, Indiana. Evansville, right down there on where the Ohio and the Wabash come together. And we got to posing hypotheticals. What if a German woman, there were a lot of people in Germany, a lot of soldiers in Germany, and a lot of bases, still are, but a lot then. It was not that long after World War II, I don't suppose, about 30, about 25 years. And what if a German woman is pregnant, she goes into labor, and she's fully dilated, she's about to drop the baby, her bag of waters is broken, and she runs and jumps in the back of an Army Jeep, a U.S. Army Jeep, and gives birth right there in the Army Jeep. That's U.S. property. Is the baby a natural-born American citizen? Well, we'll let the courts figure that out sometime, but right then we didn't have to. But those are the kind of questions that should be asked. And to make the distinction, I'm going to quit with this, and then we're going to go to, where we going, Miss Francie, in the book of Jude, yeah. Natural-born citizen. Only a natural-born citizen can be president. Every other office in America, state, federal, governorships. Arnie Schwarzenegger, was he natural-born? The Terminator. No, he wasn't. He was born in Austria. By the way, his father was a Nazi SS officer. He was born in Austria. He's Austrian. Could he be governor of California? Yes. He was a naturalized citizen, but he was not naturally born here. See? Every office, there's only one office in America that requires that you be a natural-born citizen, and that means this. You're born on the land, within the territorial boundaries of the land of the jurisdiction of the United States. And two, both of your parents are citizens of the United States at the time of your birth. That's it. Those two requirements. Most people that live in America today could be president under that standard. Well, if you're, most men, I should say. There's a distinction here about that. It's ignored, and it surprises me that we ignore it. It's in the Constitution. Well, this is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com, and coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long.